What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the One More Rep podcast where we talk about drugs. I'm your host. My name is Joseph Percher. As, as always, this episode is brought to you by NutriBio Supplements, Crystals, Bikinis, and BioLongevity Labs. I do want to ask you guys, anybody that's watching, if you're not already, subscribe to the channel. I see these analytics on the channel. We get like 12, 1,400, 1,500 views, and the channel only has like 700 subs. So I don't know what's going on there. If you're watching the videos, just click the button, would you? Uh, Today I'm joined by the bros, Josh Jefferson, Austin Brown. We were just talking drugs. Now
We're always
we're always talking about drugs. I know it's crazy.
I couldn't
Of
hold up, man. I was like, did he just say that? So
I thought
course,
you were going to say brought to you by drugs. I
basic,
felt it coming.
brought to you
basically
by
brought to you by Ada uses Serostim. No, I'm just kidding. Nobody
get
uses
sponsored by
Serostim.
Eli. Eli
Yeah, right. Um, we are just doing a hodgepodge of random questions. You said that you got a bunch of questions, so you go first for once. It's nice that
Me?
you got. Yeah. Well, Josh, did you get any or no?
Yeah, I gotta get
You
them
got
out.
them too. No shit. Wow. All right. Let's do like
Out
a
of
round
here.
robin.
All
Somebody
right.
else go.
I'll start. Yeah, I got a bunch. I'm gonna cipher through these a little bit. Let's see. How are these looking? Um, okay. Okay. I like this question. When it comes to health supplements, where's the line for what's needed? Is there a minimum, or is it all based on health markers in your lifestyle?
I think there is a minimum. I think it all depends firstly on if you're on drugs. Because if you're on drugs, there should be. I mean, I don't know anybody that's uh, on PEDs and at least responsible or trying to be responsible. Maybe not about their use, but about like being proactive about their health. I don't know about you guys. I take a truckload of health supplements, like separated AM and PM. Um,
Yeah, it's like the thing I hate the most, but it's like you got it before
really?
you know, just like just keeping track of 40 pill bottles and like where the inventory is, redoing
Yes.
AM PM every night. It's tedious. That's what I meant. But yeah, I mean, before you know it, if you're kind of going off, you know, you're implementing this for this, and then you end up if you really like as a enhanced bodybuilder, I feel like that list tends to end up being pretty long.
It's pretty extensive. I think it should be, and it's almost an insurance policy when you're using gear. And I think the more gear you use, it's probably kind of inevitable that the more you're gonna take, um, like health supplement wise. I mean that this guy's like going in the right direction. It should largely, especially if you're like trying to be, mindful of your budget and not just overdoing the health supplements for no reason. It should kind of be based on your labs. I mean, I've seen it on both ends. I've gotten guys that it's like, okay, like tell me everything you're taking, both in terms of PEDs and health supplements. And it's a laundry list of PEDs. And then they have like, the Walmart multivitamin listed for health supplements. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Like, but then I have also gotten people where it's like they're on 500 megs a test and it's a laundry list of health supplements. And it's like, dude, this looks like you have OCD. Like you don't need to be spending this much money on health supplements every month. So I would say that it is based on like how aggressive you are with PEDs. If you have any type of insight into like your genetic history, I think that can help. But yeah, labs are a good spot. Like blood pressure is a good spot.
I think there's certain things that are just like necessary, like mandatory, like fish oil or omega threes. Like uh, I would say vitamin C, especially in the time of year that we're in right now. Um, for most people, probably if you're on geared kinase. Um, just like certain things are like absolutely necessary, just as a matter of like, don't die over this shit. Like, don't be an idiot. At the end of the day, if something's skewed or your blood pressure's off, like telmisartan's probably a good plan. Certain things just should be necessary. Should be no questions asked.
Yeah,
Um,
I think natural or enhanced, like there's some predictable gaps in our diet. So like filling those first makes sense. So omega threes, maybe a multivitamin if you're not fantastic about putting a lot of color in your diet. Things like that, vitamin D3, like you said, vitamin C. So that's kind of like a nice baseline for everybody. I could probably think of one or two more in there, but that's gonna be like a good baseline that's gonna break the bank, and that's a pretty like baseline set that I'll have for most people. And then from there, I think it's like you go into like your prophylactic stuff, and it's like what am I trying to be proactive on versus reactive on. So, we have some wonder drugs for that in bodybuilding, like Talma. Metformin, I know like people have changed their opinion about that, but from like an oxidative stress standpoint, and I've seen it do wonders on cholesterol as well. It's a good prophylactic, implementation if you're enhanced. This would be for like enhanced people. So like you kind of move into like, what do you want to get ahead of first? So those things. If you are leveraging a higher androgen load, having like further cholesterol support in there, like you mentioned, the nanokinase is good, red yeast rice extract. You kind of want to look at like, what are these things doing? And you don't need to like stack the same avenue of attack multiple with like what's like every drug or every vitamin that's good for lipids. Like don't take them all, like understand what they're doing and like take a devised kind of attack towards it. Like berberine is great if your LDL's creeping up, stuff like that. So for enhanced people, that list is going to be a lot longer. And then like always use those periods of lab work to kind of revitalize and audit that list is kind of the way I do it. And then, look it over. Do I still need all of this in? Are these things looking better? And do I want to kind of move forward in a proactive manner and with it and keep XYZ in? And then what else do I need to add in to address whatever else might be off on the labs? And that's kind of the way I go about it.
It's a completely like meathead Neanderthal way of thinking about it. But if for no other reason, if I could say this and incentivize someone to be more proactive with their health supplements, I would put it two ways. One, a healthy body is a productive body. So if you're on gear and you're trying to build your physique and push the envelope, like you being healthy and having all these internal systems and internal organs healthy and operating at a high efficiency, you're going to get more out of your efforts. Um, and also, man, like just to put it bluntly, like if you are super on top of all this stuff, it kind of allows you to get away with more shit. You can take more stuff
For longer.
for longer.
You don't have to have these like periods of time where you're
Cruises, like I've talked about this, like I'm healthy on cycle. The big reason why I'm even in a cruise right now is just to kind of reset my appetite, reset my excitement for the whole process. And I was fucking sick of pinning.
right. They are needed for other reasons other than health, right?
That I have like a bunch of a bunch of travel. I'm getting a surgery, like all this different stuff. Like doesn't make sense to blast 3 grams, but um,
I love this.
otherwise, like
Yeah.
what's that?
I was saying I love this time of year because all these things are you traveling and all those things for like a cruise or
Yep. Josh, go.
all right, I got. What are the adverse sides of being a hyper responder, and how rare is it really?
Fuck off.
That's one of the questions. I had a
What are
good
the
answer.
adverse effects of being a hyper responder? Yeah, what are the downfalls of being a multimillionaire? Fuck off.
All right, so here's how I looked at it, right? A hyper responder to gear does not exactly mean that you're healthy. You could hyper respond in a negative way as well as putting on a fuck ton of muscle.
It's usually that doesn't, I hear what you're saying, but that doesn't hold up in real life. Almost always, these guys that we would qualify as hyper responders in terms of their response are also hyper tolerators.
I agree. But I was just trying to be a little bit of a
Fuck
devil's
off,
advocate.
whoever who wrote this.
His name's
Kyrie.
No,
Okay.
no, but we already know he's a hyper responder.
Kyrie could have wrote this in.
All right, so underrated, overrated, a like-minded training partner that doesn't miss. This is just also another one, but it has a follow-up. Signs it's time to level up your training environment and expand the circle that influences you. I
Oh
think if
my
your training
God. Two
environment is
crazy
shit,
separate questions. My God.
I think if your training environment shit, then your training partner is going to be more important. If your training environment's uh good, your training partner is less important.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just going to answer them separately. Uh, like, yeah, perfect scenario, like minded, never misses, same, like willing to do the same split. They're always on time, which is a huge thing for me. I'm a stickler for being on time. I hate when people are late. All those things, if you can get that in someone that trains hard, crazy underrated. You will absolutely progress at a faster rate with that person. It's just that that person is kind of a unicorn. It's difficult to be in the same location with the same needs at the same time as someone like that. Like I think any of the three of us, if we all lived in the same town, would be we'd be able to link up and be those type of training partners to one another. But we're in three completely different corners of the country.
It's super rare, like you said, like absolutely underrated, but like spinning your wheels and going through six bad training partners will hold you back. And it's hard to find the right person. So like if you're gonna try it and like think hard on that first session if it's making sense. If it's a maybe, try another one. If it's a no, just because like if you waste time with a bad training partner, it's like it's just going to make you worse too. But they definitely can be beneficial. I've been lucky to have a couple good training partners, and there's a huge difference for sure.
I was going to say, I think you're the only one who trains with a partner at this current junction. Um, Personally, I'm here all day long. So if I notice that somebody's training hard and they're coming at the same time every day, I have changed my schedule around to be like, hey, listen, let's start training together. Let's see what happens. And most of the time, if I've because I'm watching the person for, 3 or 4 weeks going in and fucking annihilating it, I'll be like, hey, listen, like let's do this. Let's see if we can, string together at least a couple weeks of sessions together. But 90% of the time, it's nobody can work on the same schedule all the time, unless this is the only thing you do. Like you guys both just do the online coaching, therefore it's different. So, like you guys can go whatever time to the gym that you want to. Um, Whereas somebody who works like a 9 to 5, like they're either going at 5:30 or they're going early in the morning. That's their two options. So it's
So
a
that
little bit
wipes
different.
those people out for me because I'm not going and training at 5 in the morning, and I'm certainly not going at 6:30 p.m. So all those people are out for me. That's why I've trained alone for as long as I have. Last time I had a consistent training partner, I've talked about him on here, was Tom Rossi. I think sometimes he listens to the show, so shout out to Tom, love him. We had some killer runs of training where he was that guy. He was just like follow, you lead and I'll follow. I'll be on time. I'll follow the split, and I'm gonna take every fucking set all the way there. Um, I would say as a compromise because it is so difficult all the time to schedule with someone. If you have like another, hard training, like-minded person in the gym, I would especially if for example, especially if that person has a really good set of legs or they train legs really hard and you need to improve your legs, maybe just see if you can link up with them that one day of the week and be like, hey, every Saturday at 2 o'clock, I will see you here for legs.
Yeah. What's the other one was more deep.
Yeah. What was that second part of it?
Signs it's time to level up your training environment, expand the circle that influences you.
I think you should always like pursue being around people who are like either at your same level and wanting to be where you want to be or like better than you. It's going to inevitably make you better. So I don't know how to answer this person's specific situation, but if you're trying to grow up and like you're buddies are still wanting to do stupid shit. And, maybe you're trying to get into bodybuilding serious and they're not wanting to, they're wanting to go out and drink every weekend and stuff. Like maybe it's, time you have that like evaluation and see if you want to change your circle a bit or decrease the size of it, I think is the
That
important
was
part
going
for
to
them.
be that was my exact point. It wasn't expand it. It was minimize it.
Yeah, yeah, that's the big one. I mean, really, I feel like you don't need that many core individuals in your life when you're an
No,
adult with responsibilities, and like be selective about who those people are because your time is, it's finite, and we only get a little, we don't get that much of it. So, be selective about who you give your time to. I think like young people in particular, they almost like feel bad or something about, but even though they feel like the friendship or whatever has been different for so long, they're continuing to do it, appease the situation for whatever reason. So it's just like, get out of there, man. Make yourself better.
that or people, young people especially, want to be liked. And it's
Yeah.
like, man, at a certain point, I don't give a fuck if you like me or not. If you're holding me back, I don't give two shits. And
I guess that's,
you're not going to get an explanation either. I don't owe you anything. Like there's one day that I'm going to stop answering your bullshit texts or the fucking memes that you send me on Instagram. And that's going to be the end of it. Um, in terms of training environment, I don't know. I mean, I think if there are like obvious detractors within your gym, what did he say? Training environment or just environment in general?
The training environment.
Okay, so like if there's like obvious detractors in your gym, like you know, an ex-girlfriend that you had an ugly breakup with, that it's just fucking weird and gossipy every time you're there, or there's people that you grew up with from high school and all they want to talk about is going out and getting hammered or whatever the case is. Like, yeah, you've outgrown that and you need to move on, like even if it means that you need to drive a little bit out of the way, or um fuck, I've moved. I mean, I know not everyone has the same situation, but like I have made many of my adult life decisions based around what was going to set me up best for bodybuilding. Like I've moved to train at in certain gyms. So,
yeah.
I mean, I guess it just depends on how much of all of this is a priority for you. Like this is my whole life in terms of my passion, my career. It's everything all rolled into one. So it's like that plays a big role in the decisions that I make. But if you just enjoy training, a couple times a week, and you work a regular job and you go out on the weekends or whatever else, like yeah, maybe you don't uproot your whole life to go train at a different gym, but I guess it just depends on how much of that training environment is, how much of a role does it play in your life?
If you're considering it, it's probably time to do it.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, like if you're asking about this, it sounds like
And
you need to. It sounds like
practice.
you need to move on from some people and you need to find a new gym and start fresh somewhere. That's going to motivate you and make you feel excited about the process.
Yeah, I agree.
What's the minimum amount of weeks one should cruise if maximum progress is the goal?
How's
Uh,
your
Go.
Huh?
how's your health? I think that's the leading question in that, or the leading question to that question is like, if your health is good, you can go for shorter. If your health is shit, it needs to be longer. You need to have good blood work in order to be able to blast, in my opinion. So
Yeah, I think you asked yourself the question first, why am I cruising? So what things made me make this decision to cruise? Did I get a bad set of lab work? Am I getting extremely fat? Am I unable to eat my meals because my digestion's rough and I'm full all the time? All these things, biomarkers getting skewed, like correct those for a period of time at least. Um, and then, you know, go from there. So I think like a good minimum, you know, I would say minimum 6 weeks is a good time period. Um, and they didn't ask about maximum, but Yeah, I think that's kind of like, correct those things for, and don't just like as soon as they're better, go back the other direction. Like, um, and I feel like that time period usually is pretty good for correcting most things other than like really deranged labs will take longer than that. But like the kind of other things, symptoms that I spoke about, you can usually turn those around pretty quick. Like a recomposition of the, depending on how fat you got, you should have got that fat. In 6 weeks, you should be able to pull a fair amount of fat off and get hungry again and those things like that.
I'll just offer a different perspective, and it goes back to what Josh was saying, and I'll use myself as an example. If you're healthy while you're on cycle, and like my composition was not even a reason as to why I'm on my most recent cruise. Um, so like, let's say you're still in pretty good shape, appetite's still okay, and you're healthy even when you're on cycle, like recently healthy. You didn't just get labs 10 weeks ago and now you have a free runway for the next 30 weeks. Like if you got labs with a week to go in your cycle and they were killer, like really good, um but maybe you're just burnt out on pinning, maybe there's like connective tissue overuse, little injuries going on, and your training doesn't feel the best, you're not super excited to go train. I would say at minimum, it would probably make sense to do 4 weeks. If you're really like in a really good spot and you just need to clean up a couple little aspects of it, especially from like a mental side of it, and less so physically, like in terms of composition or biomarkers, 4 weeks could be a minimum. That's not most likely going to be the case for most situations. And I would tend to agree with you, but I'm just throwing out a different perspective. For the most part, I like, man, I don't know that a handful of people I've ever had cruise less than 6 weeks.
Yeah, same. And that's like my minimum for me personally too.
I'll tell you this, if I didn't have everything going on that I have going on, this current cruise for me would have only been 4 weeks.
Yeah, I think for the reasons you did it, it kind of made sense. Like
Yeah.
I'm tired of pinning and like needed the mental reset. Like you said, a mental reset can happen pretty acutely. So like a
Yeah.
month, like ready to go.
Yeah. It honestly happened within probably a week, like
Yeah, I
that
was gonna say,
aspect of it. But then it's like, okay, I got 3 different trips that I have to make. I got
mhm.
hand surgery coming up. Like, doesn't make sense to fucking let the gear rip while all that's going on.
Yeah, logistics are stressful.
All right, go, Austin.
But yeah, back to me. Man, I got so many. Let's see, and I can't really pick one out while we're talking because then I get all ADD. Um, let's see. Let's do some quick hitters real quick. Daily injections with slim pin versus splitting up 2 to 3 times a week.
I always lean daily.
I was gonna say daily is it's just consistent. It's just a routine. Bodybuilding's a routine at the end of the day. So if you wake up, you do your pinning, call it a day, you're done. You don't have to think about it.
And
So
it
really,
also it isn't the case for everyone. I have personally, for myself, seen a very dramatic difference in my response, my side effects, my health markers, daily versus like bolus infrequent shots. In general, I would just say as frequently as you can. The more frequent, the better.
I mostly agree with that point. Other than if your androgen load is on the lower side, you're it's
Sure.
it. Yes, is it better? Yeah, is it like highly likely to like skew things a lot if it's like a lower load? Probably not. But really, it comes down to preference here. Like, do you want to backload a slim pin every day and have time for that? Like, or do you want to put it intramuscular, do it 2 or 3 times a week? And with the slim pin, you can go IM obviously as well. Yeah.
I was
So
just
what
gonna
I'm
say that's what I'm doing too. I got half-inch slim
putting it,
pins, and I either do my delts or my tries.
yeah, there's plenty of body parts that stay lean enough for that,
Yeah.
quad,
And you don't even
lats,
feel it, dude. You don't even
triceps.
feel it.
Yeah, the 27's nice.
Yes.
Let's see. I like this underrated, overrated gym equipment. Give me you both. Give me your Most overrated, most underrated. Josh, this is a great one for you.
Josh, go.
Shit, overrated.
This one's easy, overrated.
Any prime chest press, prime or strive chest press, plate loaded.
Play loaded.
Well,
Okay, fine.
The selectorized, the one that I have is a little fucked up right now. I have a band kind of holding it together. I gotta get it fixed. But like the plate loaded ones, they don't really converge the best. The handles aren't like angled correctly. And I just find them wonky every time I've ever used them. They just don't feel exactly right. One side might feel heavier than the other for whatever reason.
I don't disagree with you. I think they make some of the best selectorized stuff on the market, though.
And I think their back stuff is the
The
shit.
best. The best.
Um, Underrated. The pendulum squat's now like moderately rated. I'm gonna say heavy ass fucking cable. Honestly, like a heavy ass cable, like
they said they
What?
want like
We're
lines,
talking about brands, dude.
brands.
oh, brands in general. Panada is overrated as fuck.
That was what I was
Underrated
going
would
to
be
say.
anything Cybex.
Good answers. Panada was the first thing that came to mind for me
I
for
thought they were
overrated.
talking about specific movement or a specific like.
No, he was saying brands.
Oh,
Brands.
okay. Yeah, Panada is overrated. Underrated is definitely any of the older stuff. I wouldn't say Body Masters, but like Cybex, fantastic. Actually, everything in the gym that is Cybex is some of my favorite. Nautilus would be up there, but their plate loaded shit they put on these fat fucking handles. It
I
looks
like
like a
those.
coffee
I
mug.
like those though,
I
dude.
like those.
Me too.
Really,
I like the fat
Like
handle.
the explode press and like the yeah, dude. Love them.
I that on the shoulder
I
press, I
feel
love it.
strong
Back
doing
press?
those.
All right, I'm gonna ask this because I know
I feel
Austin
like a
does.
grown ass man doing those.
If this is a handle, do you go in here where your fingers are on the metal part as opposed to the rubber?
Help me out with
We all have this same press in the rotate. I'm doing this right now too.
what?
I have these two on the silver part.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
I have
oh,
these two on the silver part, and I kind of am like this. I'm almost a little internally rotated.
But if you think about it, when it comes to if you were going to dumbbell press, your hand wouldn't be
It
like
would be
this.
the opposite. I know.
But that's why I don't love those handles because I personally like I've done it on the Cybex incline press where I'll put the fat grip on there and I'll just hold the fat grip with this part of my hand, and then the other part of my hand is on the normal grip so that my hand is turned kind of like this and it presses correctly.
Mm.
Otherwise, that fucking Nautilus one, how flat it is and how it comes out like this, that doesn't feel the best to me.
You
Shoulder
know what
press
I
is
do though for that? And the reason why I almost like the internally rotated with like the wide elbow path is I bring the seat all the way up and I am almost thinking about it like a decline press.
yeah, same here. I'm just nitpicking that exact piece.
That we have different structures too. You're quite a bit taller than me.
I do the opposite of the decline situation when I do it. I
You
drop the
bring the
seat
seat all the way down.
like probably one or tick that lower than what would be like the perfect angle, so I can get the arms
Mm,
adducted more.
mm.
But now that I understand your question, I definitely turn my hand to a 45 this direction and just kind of suicide grip it all where the metal meets at that T.
Yeah.
And just hold it there and I press like out of 45 like that.
See, that's but it. I've mostly been able to continue like unimpeded, but it's like a grip like that is something I can't swing now that I got the issue with my fucking hands. Um. Okay, so I'm giving a bonus answer on top of the two questions. So most overrated, bar none. The first thing that came to my mind was Panada. I'm gonna give a different answer. Most overrated besides Panada is Arsenal for me.
Easy Arsenal. Easy Arsenal.
I would say most underrated would be all of the flex leverage stuff. And in general, if I had to put together a dream gym that had one single we'll call it one single brand, it would be, and in order, I'm saying this, it would be Strive first
Fuck yeah.
to go along with like whatever else I couldn't get that was Strive. I would make it Prime. But to me, Strive is number one.
Strive feels better than Prime, in my
I
opinion.
agree. I think they are put together better. And if you notice their adjustability is way more there's way more variety to how much you can adjust it than the Prime. A lot of the Prime stuff is just three settings, like stretched, mid-range, shortened. The Strive shit is nine. There's three individual settings within each setting.
Whatever gym you went to cheaped out on the Prime stuff because they have nine too. It's just a matter of how much they paid for it.
I've
There's
well,
there's a
but
hybrid line
also
of
but also think about the plate loaded stuff though. I mean, I guess it's no different than the Strive plate loaded stuff, but
so like I have the Prime mid row. And it's my favorite piece of back equipment. So seated upright,
selectorize. Yeah, yeah.
the plate loaded one.
Oh,
I've used the Strive one, and I could use four, maybe five plates on it. I've used 12 on the Prime
yeah,
one.
yeah.
It's and like I had to go and buy special plates for it and shit. It's light, it didn't feel right, and it's fucking there's like a magnet when you lift the thing off. I don't know if what it is, but it's like impossible to lift it, and then it's light.
I feel like the extreme row is the same thing. It feels smoother, but it's noticeably heavier than the prime version. And then also the seated side lateral machine, the Strive version is n times better than the prime version.
I just hate when they put the handles on the back stuff, the mag grip handles.
That's
Bro,
so
I hate that. It ruins it for me. I'm trying to strap in and do a hard set. Like, what am I getting from this piece or
We
from
have
these
that.
handles? Why are they on there?
We have that row with those handles, and I just walk past it every day,
What, like the seated upright one?
like that extreme
Oh,
strive
oh,
with
yeah,
take a
the.
yeah.
cloth key handle and just put it over the top of it and then just turn it. It'll lock it into place.
Oh, we can do that, huh?
I do that with the DY row all the time. I'll put like a cloth or I don't know what they're fucking made of, nylon or whatever, polyurethane, whatever the fuck it is. D handle, and then I just turn it to lock it, and then wherever I put my hand after that, it's not falling off the thing.
I'll try it. All right, real quick. My overrated was definitely gonna be Arsenal. I hate Arsenal. And then underrated, I thought about the flex leverage because it's so awesome and I love finding it in places. But I was gonna say, is it Life Fitness? Like
Bro, Life Fitness is way underrated because it's
some of their
only in
stuff
like
is
sketchy, not sketchy, but like basic corporate gyms. Retro Fitness has Life Fitness, like, but some of the pieces are like all time great, like a seated hamstring curl from Life Fitness, or like one of these chest supported. There's like a chest supported row from Life Fitness. Two of
yeah.
my favorite that, and then there is also a selectorized converging chest piece from Life Fitness that I would die on, dude. I would die on that piece.
Is that the one that like it connects down?
Yes,
The whole thing
and
is
it
below.
converges.
Yeah,
Yes,
that was fucking money. I have
yes,
to say
dude.
that Flex is
Good
not
call.
underrated. And the only reason I'm saying it's not underrated is because if you find a Flex piece, it's like $5,000.
That's why I didn't see it.
Like it's
And
so
I hear
expensive.
you, but I'm not buying them. I just like to use them.
Yeah, see, they're just so expensive. They're so hard to find. They're so expensive, but they last forever. So like
They're so
it,
well put together, dude.
yeah. And then Star Trek, you can
Star
find the
Trek
Star
is
Trek.
almost like a Nautilus, right?
So Star Trek bought the. Sorry, this is my nerd coming out.
The
They bought
SWAT,
the
the
patent
hack
from
squat,
Flex.
right?
Well, so Star Trek bought the patent from Flex. Then Nautilus bought Star Trek.
Gotcha.
So all of the old flex patents could be made. Nautilus just says fuck us.
Oh,
Just
hmm.
like Hammer Strength owns Cybex now. So if you look at the new Hammer Strength hack squat, it's a Cybex hack squat. It's just not as beautiful.
That's actually a highly regarded piece in the bodybuilding world that I just don't fuck with at all. I
I have
can't. It's a knee buster, dude.
I have such an emotional attachment to it that I'm taking it out of the program because you told me I had to reverse band it.
We'll talk later.
The Arsenal is what you're talking about.
Arsenal fucking hack squat is garbage.
Oh, I thought that's what you're talking about.
It is
No,
garbage. No, the Cybex hack, the old school Cybex hack is just too heavy on my knees.
as the Brits call it, the Mach 1.
Doesn't the foot plate adjust?
No.
No.
I'm tripping. Never mind.
I personally bought these what I call Loki handles. I got them custom made for the thing. So like the handles are all the way back here and it puts you in a really crap position. So I
Terrible
got
position.
like FSB handles that you
Ah,
have onto here and it feels so much better.
it's almost
Today,
like a transformer bar.
exactly. And then today, for one of my clients, I actually put a half foam roller pad behind their upper back.
And
And
mm,
now you're sitting there and you're leaning forward a little bit and it's money like that.
Well, that'll take a lot of that pressure off the patella doing that because it's
yes,
by generic
it's
ankle.
almost like more hip. It's more hip like flexion. Like it's almost like more of like a glute squat.
Yeah, I did one rep of that today and it felt incredible and with no warm up, which was very nice.
Yeah, it's definitely safer that way.
All right, Josh, go.
If your weekly volume for all muscle groups is as low as 6 to 8 sets for the week, but you are progressing in all those movements, do you think that is enough stimulus dash volume for building new tissue?
It can be.
I My answer was it can be, but the problem's going to be what if you could handle more? You won't know until you try.
My answer, I agree with that. It can be. I also think it probably depends, and what you said largely depends on what body part it is and how are you allocating that volume. Like, I think you can grow enormous legs on 6 sets of quads for the week. And then part of that too is going to be like, what do those sets look like? Like, if you're really bringing it there, yeah, 6 sets of quads is plenty for the week. And, are most guys, especially like guys that are listening to this podcast, we're not talking about like genetically elite guys, are most guys going to be able to build impressive biceps on 6 sets per week? Probably not. Side delts? Probably not.
Yeah, I would, in your kind of analysis of that, like, kind of look at your recoverability from it too. Like, are you smashed the next day? And then, like, how long is it taking you to feel recovered? That's a decent proxy. Like, you shouldn't stay sore all week. That's not what I'm saying. But, like, are you getting some notable stimulus from it? Like, which this probably person is, but, if it's like 24 hours and then you're good to go, like, maybe you look at adding some more in there where it's a 2 to 3 day kind of window. Visually, is it tracking? Does it look fuller, bigger? Are you
Right.
taking measurements or anything? Track your visuals, look at it. Um, but yeah, I mean, you can kind of like, if you're increasing your tools like with food and drugs, like you can maybe use that as a time to do the volume increase as well. But yeah, I mean, you definitely can progress on that. We talk about it a lot, but it's kind of my belief system that it's like largely dependent on like accuracy retraining and like what are these sets looking like, because there's a huge vast difference there even within a rep or two. So um, yeah, it's person dependent, but it's not impossible by any means. Plenty of well-known people have done so.
I've always looked at low volume training is that you have to be able to say that you don't miss. You,
A great way to put
if you leave a rep, 2 reps, 3 reps on that set,
it.
that's not it. You didn't do it right. So like if you're gonna have your volume that low, you have to be a fucking sniper.
Right, because it's just that's just so low for most of the body parts that there is no room for error. There's no margin for error that low. Like that's not even moderate. That's low, low. 6 sets a week. Like we referred to Dorian as being low volume, and when you go back and look at some of his training, like materials or the videos, like most of the body parts, it's like 10 to 14 sets a week.
Yeah, I I agree. I've seen this guy's program. I know what he's talking about. He definitely
Is
should be
this
in the
guy
league.
big?
Um,
Be
big for a men,
honest.
big for a men's physique. Yeah,
Do I know him?
yes,
And he looks good for men's physique.
looks very good for men's physique.
Oh, I think I do know who you're talking about. He looks killer.
Yeah, it's just a matter of he needs more size and a lot more size.
Awesome back, right?
Yes, yes,
And shoulders.
you know exactly who I'm talking about. Yep.
Fuck, dude. If he's only doing 6 sets a week for shoulders, I stand corrected because his shoulders look great. I would kill to have his shoulders. I would kill to have this dude's back. Yeah, he looks awesome. Chest could use more, arms could use more. So maybe just those you look at bringing up. I don't think anything with his back training needs to change at all.
When you see him in person, he has that shape, that men's physique shape.
He's made
But
for
like
that. Yeah.
if you could just like somebody once said this to me, like if you could just turn around and like just drag him out, like it was making the window bigger on a computer, he'd be, you know, top top 10.
Top
He'd
10 and
definitely
Olympian. Yeah.
yeah, he'd be at least, top five at most almost every pro show.
He's won a pro show, hasn't he?
He's been to the O.
I know that he's been to the I don't was it from winning a show or I don't remember, but he's
I want to
awesome.
say I was gonna say it's like 2016 or 2018 or something like that when he
Okay.
went. It was a
He'll
long
be
time
back,
ago.
dude. Like you said, he had some like if he just that was the perfect way to put it. If he just expands the look, he'll get back there, dude, because he's got the look.
Hmm.
I would say knowing what he looks like and knowing like that some of the body parts are so crazy strong. Um, yeah, maybe like chest and arms. I would the next couple times that you go in the gym, add a couple sets, add a set or two for chest and arms and see, are you fucking smashed from it? If not, then it might be great. That might be perfect.
add in some intensity techniques or something like that. Some
Yeah, hell
extended.
yeah. Um, this is a funny one, especially like as you get bigger. I feel like this is just like the question that we all inherently fall on. Any tips for being productive after training? Feels like I can't accomplish anything if I train early in the day. I'll tell you,
No,
I'll just jump in right now. I have zero tips for this. I am worthless after I train.
Yeah, I mean, it's just comes with the territory, really. I mean, leverage your stimulants when it makes sense, and yeah, I mean, that's all I got really. I do like earlier training, like I do like to if I use stimulants, like keep it lower so I can utilize them later in the day because I'm going to be tired from training. So maybe do that. Try that if you're doing 500 mgs pre-workout and then like nothing the rest of the day. Like maybe switch that around a bit.
Is that what you're doing?
No, no, I'm saying if this individual is, maybe
Oh,
try.
oh,
I said
okay,
I
okay.
mostly
Oh,
keep it
like
low.
split it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'll keep it lower stem pre-workout because I trained earlier at like 8 or 9, and then I'll have like a little bit more throughout the day as needed because I'm on my ass from training just to get through work and stuff.
You know what? Tommy Styles, when I did the podcast with him, told me that that's exactly what he does. He said that he actually tries to get away with training on as little stimulant as he actually can. And then he has like a fat cold brew or like nitro, whatever the fuck, on his way home from the gym.
Yeah.
So if you're training early enough, like I wouldn't do that if you're training at 3 in the afternoon.
No.
But if you train at 9 a.m., like you have one meal, you take a pre-workout or a coffee, you go train. Yeah, maybe have another cup of coffee on the way home. But um, luckily for me, I have no really other suggestions. I'm worthless.
That's all I got.
I got one, but mine's unorthodox as fuck. Smoke weed before you train.
I knew it was going to be weed,
After you're
dude.
done, hit a smelling salt. Boom. It's worked every single time I've had some real shit I had to do. I'll smoke before I burn it off about halfway through the session. By the time that it's done, that I got to go and do some shit, I hit a smelling salt. I'm good to go. And I could
Hey,
like absolutely bury myself on legs, destroyed bodies not working, brains not functioning, hit the smelling salt, I'm right back. It also does help to have a very annoying pit bull who will just bug you until you take her
don't
for a
talk
walk.
shit about Delilah on my
She's
podcast.
literally underneath me, annoying the fuck out of me, trying to bite something. She's trying to eat a Splenda packet, actually, an empty Splenda packet.
I'm not going to have any Delilah slander on this podcast, so you need to bring that shit elsewhere.
She is the goat. But realistically, the caffeine's a great idea. Um, or if you're a music person and you have a like a song or a playlist that like gets you
Mm.
kind of up, I would say don't listen to it in the gym and listen to it after. Like for me personally, the song Fantasy by Mariah Carey is my top set song. But if I also just need like an energy boost, I'm playing that motherfucker.
Okay. All right. I got a couple from a good friend of the show. I like this guy a lot. Firstly, he says, just wanted to say you guys are awesome and Primo sucks. So obviously, friend of the show, he's speaking our language. Um, he says nightly bolus dose of GH for off-season growing if I'm running 10 plus IUs a day, or should I split the dose fasted in the morning and at night before bed?
If you're gonna split it right before bed, and then whenever you wake up to pee in the middle of the night. I'm not gonna lie and say that I haven't, fallen asleep before taking my shot. So I wake up in the middle of the night to pee, and then I'll take my shot. Boom.
That was my exact answer. I actually just recently ordered a mini fridge and I have it. I have like a long counter in the bathroom. And so I go to bed every night at 9. I pretty much on the dot sleep until 12:30 or 1. And in anticipation of the carpal tunnel surgery happening and being able to run like really high doses of GH, I bought a mini fridge. And so that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do half before I lay down for bed and then the other half whenever I get up in the middle of the night. I wouldn't do the morning unless in general I don't like the morning dose in the off season, especially if it's like half of your total. That's a big amount. The only way that I could rationalize that, if that's like what you're set on doing, would be you definitely would want to have like a amount of retatrutide in that allows you to still eat your food, or you're going to have Atlantis in.
I like the bolus dose for off season for sure. If given the two options,
Yeah, me too.
it's easier and it's going to make more sense in this situation.
It also is just going to lead to that highest IGF peak, even compared to the method that Josh and I are talking about, splitting it at all. You're basically getting two smaller IGF peaks instead of that one enormous IGF peak that we're going for, especially if you're shooting at IM, which to me, like if I had to give a single best case scenario, off season growing, I'm taking GH, I'm putting the entire dose in before I lay down for bed, intramuscular.
Okay.
I also think if you're if you're someone who freaks out about going hypo, because like we talked about, if you do the IM dose big before bed, like
Yeah, yeah.
experience it, you might go hypo. And like, let's say you wake up in the middle of the night during that fucking valley, maybe you should just make that dose a little bit smaller and split it in the morning. Like if you're freaking out about it, if you sit there and you wear a CGM and you check the shit and it's negative or minus 55 and you're freaking out and you're just, a head case, maybe turn around and move it down. Bump that
That
down
or
and then
just put carbs in your last meal. If you're that type of guy, yeah, have a big carb meal before bed. Have a big carb meal with fruits. Favorite
keep
lat bias back exercise? Josh, tell me.
pullovers,
Machine, cable?
uh cable, Vulcan strap or rope.
Bro,
I
I
like
have
strap if I can just do it with the outside of my hands.
I've intentionally have added the specific Vulcan strap. It's that black strap that has two sets of handles and it says Vulcan in like a blue teal color on it.
Yep.
Been doing those ever since we talked about it, probably a month ago. I finish every back workout with them. Did them
My
today.
only my only other one would be, do you guys have the Freedom trainers with the arms?
Freedom trainers.
They're called Freedom trainers, but Free Motion makes it.
Free
It's got
motion. Yes. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, they're called Freedom trainers because apparently Nautilus made them. But you put a cuff on and you have your arm backwards and you brace against the fucking arm and turn away and you
Yeah,
just do
yeah.
one, try to wrap your elbow into your lat. That's a nice one. I like that as a finisher more than as a starter, but I like cable pullovers to start. And that's
Mm.
honest to God for me. When I do back, I could do 2 to 3 sets of cable pullovers and I don't have to do another warm up the entire workout. That's going to smoke my entire back.
Yeah, I do like it as a beginning movement for that point and just getting the shoulder joint warmed up and everything. I'm gonna go with like a plate loaded single arm row of some variation. I've used plenty of them that I like, but for favorite lat movement for sure. You're currently doing the Nautilus plate loaded. It's like their horizontal row. Really like that one. It's not chest supported is the only thing, but it's really nice.
It's not chest supported and it's super heavy in the short end. Yeah.
Yeah, depending on how far you sit back.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You want to kind of choke up on it, so it is heavy in the
It's like it's like the explode version of the pull down, but it's the row version of that pull down.
Oh, the compound row. That
It's,
thing fucking gorgeous.
it is the row version of the Nautilus pull down, essentially. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. 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 Like
I
same
do.
handle on it and everything. Yeah.
Fucking
So
the bad.
I was gonna say either the Nautilus pull down. I almost was thinking about screen sharing and showing you guys a video of what I'm talking about. But I for the last 5 years, I probably would have said the single arm Nautilus pull down. And then in the past 6 months or so, I've done more of a single arm cable pull down, but not in like the pull down station. I'll slide an incline bench over to like the cross cable station and just do
Right.
one of them. You know what I'm saying? Um, and man, I feel that I feel like I have so much more um, variety in how my elbow can move compared to the Nautilus pull down, like under tension at least.
Do
So
you lean forward when you do that
yeah,
onto the incline bench, or do you sit back?
I sit my ass way back so that I can then kind of lean forward.
See, when I used to do that movement, I would kind of prop myself like this to pull down, and then I realized that was just the Nautilus pull down. It's the same fucking movement. So it
That's
was a
how
little,
Machine does it. That's how
yeah,
David does it.
Yeah, yeah, I like them. I like them like that. If you don't have access to a good 45-degree or
Yep.
down of some sort, that's a
Yep.
great setup. The way you do it, Joe, is also a good variation. And I know like Paige is currently doing those, and that's like the way she like figured out how to train lats because it's just
Yeah.
like almost the way you can manipulate it and really hone in on your lat.
It almost feels like with that cable, instead of being forced into, and don't get me wrong, the Nautilus pull down is incredible. The handle itself does move, so you have tons of variability in how it will move. But there's something about being a free cable that I am able to more visualize that, like, I want my arm and my body to move this way as opposed to I'm moving with the machine. Um, but yeah, I would agree with the sentiment that you guys were talking about earlier. In my back training, I do all my lat specific stuff first. So it's not necessarily an opener or a warm up. I'm attacking them like working sets, but I do all the single arm lat specific shit first before I get into anything upper back.
Another one I really like is again, like an adjustable cable. You set it up like if you're seated on bench, if you set it up at shoulder height and you just kind of pull down, like
Yeah.
I'm able to just focus on just driving my elbow down. I don't have to worry about anything else. I do really like that movement too, but I still think that like cable pullovers, if you do them right and like I know we're not super, thinking about like rib cage mechanics, but if as you're coming up and you breathe into your like lower lat dash upper back, like you think about breathing into your back as you do them, that stretch is unmatched.
Mm, I like that. All right, Austin, go.
Okay.
Oh, never mind. Austin's got to go. Motherfucker.
I can do one more real quick.
Okay, let's go.
I'm trying to find like a pretty quick one. There's a lot.
I got asked, Austin, and I know that I think you've done this. Any experience with DHB? You've done DHB, yeah?
I'm planning to.
Oh,
This next push. So no experience personally. So yeah.
okay. Um, is Serostim worth 3 times the cost over good generic GH? Absolutely the fuck not.
No.
And most
No.
of the time, it's 5 times the cost or more of good generic GH. So it better make you 5 times bigger than the generics do, and they don't. Every single pro that I've had a private conversation with, not to be that guy, not to sound like Kurt Havens, all my pros, but every single guy that I've talked to that I've had a private conversation with that has talked about this topic, every single one of them does generics and has only done generics. Nobody is paying the money for pharmacy. And the people that are saying pharmacy only or there's no such thing as good generics are fake, it's GHRP6, all these different things, they're invested in selling pharmaceutical growth. That's the only reason that they're talking about this.
Fair point.
All right, Josh, you want to stay on? We'll do a couple more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I got a
That's okay,
call.
buddy. No, do your thing.
See you guys next week.
All right.
Try to nip out of here if I can figure
So
it
I
out.
was saying bye. If you guys can hear her.
I never leave. We just end it. So,
Just hit the X down to the
mm,
bottom right. Bottom right.
we're gonna try this. Okay. Yeah, I got it. I'll see you guys.
All right, later, dude. Um, here's one for here's a good one, especially with what we got going on with you right now. Have you ever tried keeping rest days very low for carbs in the off season? If so, what was the result?
I got fucking peeled. No, genuinely, I really liked it. When we were doing it during the rebound. I'm gonna be honest, this last like 3 days.
You're hungry.
Yeah, I'm definitely fucking hungry. But like when we were doing it in the off season and like a rest day was followed by a high day, that felt really nice because I walked into the high day feeling empty. Um, my blood glucose fixed itself pretty much by wearing watching it with the CGM. I just felt lighter on my feet. And also for me personally, having the high day on my leg day, I went into the leg day with less inflammation and feeling bogged the fuck down, which allowed me to eat more in my first two meals and feel like I wasn't just lethargic to go and train. I felt good. So definitely a fan of that. Um, did it need to be like super duper low? I don't think, as low as we went, I liked it, especially in the time, but like did it maybe need to be 100 grams of carbs? Probably not, but like I still liked it. I still like it now. I like having my salads and shit.
It's it's a tool like anything else. I think for when, like, just talking about your situation, we kind of needed to fix your glucose, and we also, it was done thoughtfully with the idea that, hey, this is setting you up to be as sensitive as you possibly could be for this high day that's going to follow. Um, I think, as like, once we get into this push, it's not going to be zero carb or super low carb all the time. In fact, I think the bigger you get, the less utility that this has. I think the bigger you get, it's actually a positive to continue to eat big food when you rest. One, because you're trying to put on and facilitate the growth of new tissue, but also I think there's a big, big application in like training your metabolism to be able to process that much food, whether there's the stimulus of training or not. Like, I learned that from Compton. Compton did that to me. I had always been a low or no carb rest day type of guy in the off season. And then once I got with Compton, it was like, your intra shake comes out, and that's pretty much it. Like, we're going to shove tons of food all the time, no matter what. And then this, I went through the off season where I ate more than I ever have before. I ate that much every single day, whether it was training or rest. I got heavier than I had ever been, and it resulted in the best prep of my life. I got super, super peeled at the heaviest body weight while still eating more food than I ever have in a diet and doing less cardio than I ever have in a diet. So I think there is application for both sides of it. I think, especially for newer slash smaller male competitors and female competitors, especially, there's a really good application for this.
This was a question I had that I was going to ask either one of you in your question box, and then I said I was just going to make it up and act like somebody asked me. Um, in a prep scenario, what's your opinion on refeed rest days? So, like, keep the baseline food lower on your rest day, once every 2 weeks or whatever, however your refeeds kind of work out. You do no cardio, no training, and higher food. I know, I believe it's Kuza's a big fan of that.
I like it. I like it. I think I would be lying if I said I haven't done it every way possible. There are some people where, when it's starting to get time for a refeed, I'm going to say to them, "What are you training today?" And if they're training legs, I'm going to refeed them. If they're resting, I'm going to refeed them tomorrow. On the flip side of it, I absolutely have people where I specifically say, "When is your next rest day?" And they say, "Today I'm resting." And then it's like, "Okay, we'll skip cardio and we're going to eat up all day today." A lot of times, like, refeeds too for me are 2 days in a row, depending on if there's added fats included. But yeah, I think it just makes sense. You just have to know, one, I think you have to know how hard the person trains and what their psychology is. Like, if they are going to go in, and because you gave them a refeed on a training day, if now all of a sudden they turn into the Terminator and they're going to go in and do a 4 hour leg workout because they feel like they need to earn the food, then you're better off feeding them up on a rest day and telling them specifically, "Do not do any cardio. I only want you to do 6,000 steps, and I need you to just chill home and eat all this food today." The people that are less emotional or less attached to their identity of being someone that trains hard or works hard, you can feed them up on like either legs or like, you could argue that feeding them up on a priority body part day just mentally gets someone more geared up and excited to train on a body part that it's needed.
Yeah. I see. I always liked the idea of a rest day refeed. Also from the perspective of you didn't need to feed them up quite as much.
Right.
Calories didn't quite as high,
Right.
because you're not burning through anything. So I've always liked that approach just for that reason, and figured that you and Austin also would. So had to ask the question.
Yeah, it's a great thing. Like anything else, like we were just talking about, it's a tool like anything else. I mean, that's part of what makes someone good at coaching, and not just as a general sentiment, like this person is a good coach. It's whether or not this person is a good coach for that particular client.
I got
Uh,
I got a question that's like pretty basic, but I feel like it's a good one for this.
Go ahead.
Best sleep tips, practices, supplements. Um, if you want, I could just rifle these off if that's too rudimentary. But sleep
I love
tips,
melatonin.
yeah.
I love melatonin and probably higher than what the like average person talks about. I don't hesitate to, like, especially if someone's complaining about sleep, especially if someone's in prep, especially if someone's on trend. I will not hesitate to tell someone to rip anywhere from 30 to 60 milligrams of melatonin. And I also like at least some of that to be specifically an extended release melatonin. So, like for me personally, I do 40 milligrams of rapid release melatonin because I want to be able to just fall right asleep. And then I'll also do another 10 milligrams of extended release.
The only thing I was going to add in was the glycine. Ever since
Glycine, 10
you
grams.
had me, since you had me do the 10 grams of glycine, I either wake up less to pee, or if I wake up to pee, I might hit my fucking head on the toilet bowl.
You
I'm
can't
half
wait
asleep.
to go back to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, it's immediately running back into the room as soon as I'm done. And
Awesome.
I'm not gonna sometimes shit that T4 does not get taken at the same time just because like
It
glycine
doesn't
fluctuates.
matter. T4, dude, the half-life on T4, I don't want to sound like an idiot by not having it in front of me, but I'm pretty sure it's days long. It might even be like a week long. I'm sure someone will correct me on that if I'm wrong in the comments, but it's a way longer half-life for T4 than compared to T3. So it doesn't totally matter. And it's more so that it's the big thing with any thyroid is that it's not taken near food or caffeine. So yeah, glycine, melatonin. Um,
Putting your phone away. Red light glasses or blue light glasses, whatever they're called.
yeah, I think a big one, and I run warm, so I always intuitively did this, but I'm amazed at how often I hear about people like not setting like the temperature of their AC like way like I've heard from sleep experts on podcasts or whatever that the ideal room temperature when you're trying to sleep is somewhere between like 62 and 64 degrees. Like it should be fucking cold. It should be so cold that even as a big warm man covered in muscle, you feel like you need to be under a blanket to go to sleep.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
That I think it being dark is another huge thing. Like if you have a bedroom where there's like a lot of natural light or a window, get a blackout curtain. That and the last thing, because I'm not a sleep expert, but this helps a ton. I think it's one of the worst mistakes that the modern American makes is having a TV in their bedroom. Get it out. The best way that I've heard it described is that the bedroom is for sex and for sleep, and that's it. If you do that and you only do those things when you go to the bedroom, you are like training your body that, okay, when I lay down in this bed, it is for sleep only.
I have another one too. And maybe this was just me being a shit student in school. But when you tried to read like a textbook in your room and you just like start falling asleep while you're doing it,
Yep.
find something boring as fuck that's like dense to read. Read 10 pages of that, you're falling the fuck asleep. Almost.
100%. That's a known thing. It makes your eyes more tired. I've even heard, I don't know if there's science behind this, but I've had people comment on the videos that I do, and they're like, bro, I put this on before bed and I fall right asleep. Someone said that to me a couple weeks ago. And I was like, I don't know whether to take this as a compliment or that I'm ass boring. Um, but it's true. I mean, there's been times where I can remember back in the day, I used to listen to Joe Rogan a lot, and I would just play it on like I had like a Google Home next to the bed, and I would just tell it to play any fucking podcast. I would keep the volume low, and sure enough, I'd be out. So I think anything that can kind of just keep your mind from running around all over the place would be a good thing, other than a TV. I think if you can listen to something or read something, that's good. People that sleep with the TV on, man.
I'd never get that one.
Oh my God. You ever been like staying, especially when you were younger, like you sleep over at a friend's house or something, and they're one of these people that needs the TV on to fall asleep? The
And loud.
worst. Oh my God, the worst. The worst
You ever
situation
been
you could be in.
you ever been about to compete in a national show and somebody's just on their FaceTime with their girlfriend the entire time until then you wonder why
No,
you can't take place?
no,
I know a couple people like that.
can't imagine.
Yeah.
Couldn't be me. All right. I think that's a good spot to wrap it up. I got to eat. So.
All right, brother.
All right, guys. Thanks for following along. Like I said, if you guys are watching the podcast, subscribe to the channel. Do me a favor, click the button, subscribe to it. For my friend Josh Jefferson, for our friend that has already left, Austin Brown, I'm Joseph Percher. This was the One More Rep podcast, and we are out.